There we go. So market's above 29.20 briefly. So I'm going to move my stop to the small target in ES and going to move my stop to the small target in NQ. And so now it's small target at least. And I'm going to move this a little bit closer to the stopping point, also closer to the market as it turns out. So looking for, I'm going to move it just a little bit up. Looking for 83.5 in NQ. The stop's at 65.5 and the market's at 70 at the moment. Long from 62.25. So hopefully it doesn't die off here because we had some nice unrealized profits, and we'll see a little bit of cooperation now in ES as well. And I'm just going to move that just slightly closer, but not much. So 29.24.25. Market's at 21 at the moment. Stops at 18. I'm going to move that to 19. So if we get stopped out, it's $100 per contract to the positive. And NQ, looking for another push upward. If it can get back in the mid 92.70s, I'll put the stop at 68.5, and that will be a little over double our small target. Crude seeing a little cooperation, so we're at 51 at the moment, so I'm going to move my stop up from 38 to 43, so that's the small target in crude. And the larger target is 25.75, so looking for basically just a retest near the highs. Gold had a nice push up. We can, oops, I got to mess with that just a minute here. Go back to NASDAQ. Market briefly pushed higher, and so I am going to move the stop to 68.5. Market's not that far away at the moment, 73. And so now we're a little over double our small target in NASDAQ. Market's gone above 22.
Order filled.
So market triggered us. I am thoroughly confused here. 1 second. I got to place these orders. 1 second.
Order submitted. Order submitted. Order filled.
Okay, so just stopped
Order
out
canceled.
in ES. Sorry.
Order filled.
Okay, so just stopped out. All right. And then our small target stop just filled in crude. So it kind of all happened at the same time. That's unable to see everything all at once. But missed out on the slightly larger target. Stopped out at a little over double our small target in NASDAQ. Double our small target to the tick in ES at 19, long from 17. YM, no fill short. Market has bounced a little and nothing there. And then RTY has traded fully here below support and so far has not triggered a trade. And so the bid is slow to show up. And then here in crude, picked up the small target across the board on that trade. So now just going to reset. So just resetting my strategy. That takes the lines away and starts everything fresh. So we got our move. It didn't quite take off as well as we would have liked. Otherwise, we could have gotten that slightly larger, decently large target. Would have been about a 50-point winner in NASDAQ. And would have been about a 7-point winner or so in ES, but wasn't able to quite make it there. Now, not looking to buy this support, just waiting depending on how much time it spends going sideways, we may look to buy if it's able to break below the current session low. We might look for a false break downward and buy that and look for a push upward. But at the moment, stopped out, the market's come back basically to the entry or a little below, and is now starting to push upward again. So we may have just collected what we could off of that somewhat out of pace move. And so overall, though, small target plus at least double the small target on everything except for crude. So, pardon me, averaged out probably around $70 to $80 a contract. And so curious, I know we were busy through all that. First of all, FIP, James said he would love to hear from FIP how you use Renko. And FIP, you said you're ready to trade in NinjaTrader. Do you mind me asking what you're currently trading in, if it's not NinjaTrader? And then also I'm curious, and maybe I already said this, if did anyone throughout all of that activity there in NQ, ES, crude, did anyone get any fills? And if so, how did your trades go? Did you do similarly?
Order submitted.
Or how did things go? Let's check RTY. Okay, so RTY has been swirling around below support, and it may wake up here. We looks like we may have a fill in just a moment. Tradulator is saying that 09.6, if the market can reach 0.96, then it may at least easily give up to the upside, at least about 10 ticks or so. Just that small target should be pretty decently gettable. Okay. So FIP says NinjaTrader's been freezing on him lately, that is dreadful when that happens. I've had it happen a number of times. Just I had to simplify the workload that I was imposing with some of my tools.
Order
and
submitted.
So just filled now long in RTY. So just pulling the stop down just below this pullback. Looking for hopefully some easy ticks, at least up to 13.10.7 or so. If we can get there, then we're almost there. Okay, so if we can get there anyways, that's our small target, and then we can. I'm gonna put my stop
Order
at my
filled.
entry. Oops, lost it. So small target winner so far in RTY, and just going to move that.
Order filled.
And so just took the target at 14. I'm sorry, wait a minute. Hold on. That changed my order. 1 second. So all right, so I think I'll have to take a look at that because I moved my order and it changed. All right, so sorry for the issue there. I'm just doing a little investigation. So RTY, it seems I have an order issue because the stop should be at the entry. And most likely, let's see, I'll just follow the stop with this. I'm out of the trade, but we can still see that's too big. So that subtle little line there, that's the entry. For the larger target, I was looking for just a push back up into this, just below this cluster where the market kind of paused a little. So right in here. And so the larger target, you know, relatively larger. Sorry. As I was looking for something right around 13.14, but as it sits right now, the stop at the entry likely would have been just ticked just a moment ago. And so if you're long RTY still, and if I were long still, then I would be looking for a 14.4 right around there target. So if you happen to be long, 14.4 may be gettable. Market's at 12.4 right now, roughly. All right. So let's see here. All right, so James said, I would love to hear from you, Phip, as to how you use Renko. Phip said, GC gold feels like it's going to break out to the next level higher. 14.40 is the trigger for him. Otherwise, he would consider a break a fake out, I believe. Okay, so Ninja's been freezing on him lately. He's looking long GC at 17.10.5. So let's just go over here. 1 second here. And for some reason this is off, so I'll just move this over here and set it up real quick. All right, so buy line working in gold at 087, 1708.7. So Ninja Trader's been freezing on FIP, so I'm just catching up here. All right, Tomas, thank you. Tomas, you said, hello, you had 2 successful trades in ES, about 8 points. And were those based on what you do, or were they something else, or were they based on what I was showing? I'm just curious. So RTY still trying to figure out if it wants to take off or not. FIP says, wow, stopped out. Entry was the absolute high. With Renko charts, so James, sounds like part of your answer here. With Renko charts, I find it easier to stay on the right side of the market. Gives me quote-unquote exact price points to look for a change in market sentiment. I also find it easier to see the patterns he trades, such as head and shoulders, tops and bottoms, pullbacks, failures. James says, thank you, FIP. And Tomas, you said based on what I showed, a bounce from levels. Awesome. Well, good. That's why we're here. Have some success. So 8 points in ES. That's excellent. And I'm so glad. I'm so happy about it. Yes, absolutely. Looking back, crude, we have our buy zone, buy line, 17.087. Possible trigger. I didn't keep my buy line active, and so no orders are being sent in RTY. Nothing in YM as it is between. ES bounced and now may resume, as is the case with NQ as well. Sergio, pardon me, I'm so sorry. Sergio wrote in, thank you for sharing. Okay, you have an order sent right now in RTY, and you have 4 successful trades. Boom, I love it. Winners in ES, NQ, MES, and RTY. I love it. The whole idea for me is to take you from wherever you are or were last week or last month or whenever you started, and get you moving forward as sensibly, but also as quickly as possible. And so put you out of all those frustrations of, oh, I had a winner, but then I left this and it went back. And, I mean, I've had so many winners that should have just stayed winners, but they became a loser somehow because I was like, well, I justified it. I moved this. I'll do this. I'll wait longer. I'll do, and you may have done something similarly where you just, what's the saying? It reminds me of, something about snatching victory from defeat or defeat from victory, something like that. And I've done that exactly. I mean, just really too many times to care to recall. Very painful to just be like, why?
Order submitted.
So order submitted, I'm going to guess. Okay, so gold right below the order right now. So
Order
we'll see.
submitted.
All right, so just filled. Looking for 5 ticks on the small target, so not a huge, massive winner on the small target. Looking for 1710.3. Market's at 9.9 at the moment. And so a couple more ticks, and I'm going to crowd this and move my stop to my entry. $10.1. Just need to get that bid at $10.3 and it'll be filled. So currently long gold, and the long is based on the support generated from Supra day range. And so far the market's been not an instant small target winner, so a little bit slow pace. Of course, the pace always feels slow once you're filled. And Laura is asking about Renko charts. Are Renko charts available in NinjaTrader? To my knowledge, yes. And FIP, do you use Renko in your NinjaTrader? I believe I've seen your charts. I believe the answer is yes. But yes, Laura, Renko charts are available in NT8. All right, so gold taking an excursion now below the entry, still within just a few ticks, but the wrong way. All right, FIP says he uses a third party for his Renko periodicity. So he doesn't use just the NinjaTrader Renko. And there's a number of vendors that have created variations, their take on Renko. So just taking a look around here. So unfortunately, shrugged off. Markets, NQ in particular, is just right at about where the larger target was. And so that's unfortunate when you see that. Same with ES. It got into the 24s. That was the larger target. So, and you can see here's the larger target in RTY, and you can see that it just touched it. Maybe went a tick above. Meanwhile, gold is still meandering about. So I'll leave it back here on gold. Okay, let's see here. Sergio, you wrote in, buy line moved up. And so let me just, this is a little too busy. Let me remove, pardon, remove, remove. So, Sergio, you said buy line moved up with day range, so I'm not sure which market you were referring to. If you guys write in a note, just go ahead and include the market, or sometimes you'll say, hey, this trade, and you'll talk about your trade. And if you just tell me in your note if it's long or short, then I can really more quickly, I should say, catch on to what you're talking about. And so our gold here, taking its time, within a couple of ticks, 3
Order
ticks now,
filled.
so just filled the small target. So going to move the stop to the entry. So stops at, 1 tick off the entry. There we go. 098 is our entry price and stops at 098. And with this quick movement here, I'm going to move my larger target down to 11.1. which is actually pretty close, but we can see the market had a quick moment of, kind of a go, no-go type moment.
Filled.
And so able to just now get filled on that. And so able to pick up 13 ticks, so 130. So, nothing crazy amazing, but moving in the right direction. So picked up the small target in gold, and then a smaller large target. Usually it's a little bit bigger, but in this rush up only to then kind of erase out, I thought that might be a opportune place to be content rather than looking for the market to battle through. And it might not take long. The market could very easily take off from here. It's at 11.5 at the moment. But ahead of time, not knowing the future, that was the idea, was just the market may try to erase this upward move yet again like it did here. And so I just thought that's the most recent implication. So I'll trade into that statement from the market, into that potential for bearishness. But at the moment, market's still edging into it. So it may see its way through and go up, but able to pick up 13 ticks on the smaller but still larger target, and then able to pick up 5 ticks on just the standard target, small target. Let's see here. With day range, let's see. Sergio said buy lines moved up with day range. Has new day range levels in NQ, ES, and RTY. So let me see. Nope, we don't. We have these are from Tradulator. And so I'll go ahead and refresh this and you'll see what I mean. So as you can see, we have EdgeMinder resistance, EdgeMinder support, and no Supra day range has appeared in RTY so far today. And then we'll check ES. And as you can see, there's only EdgeMinder and ES, and then we'll check NQ, and NQ also has no day range. And so those boxes that may have appeared in your RTY in particular, those were related to Tradulator potential trades. Yes, Phip, I was feeling badly for you, only because here you are shrugged off, and now it's like there's nothing like giving money and then going right back to where you just could have kept your money. So I'm very sorry. I was feeling badly for you because that's no good. But it's just another challenge to survive or to thrive in the midst of. And that's really, I found trading to be just an exercise in how to handle challenges and how to have a positive response to stress. And so if you can kind of organize it in that way, sometimes the stress can then be, way easier to manage, to confront, when it's not like, where's this coming from? Why is this happening? Why does this always happen to me? All these different, rather perhaps helpless perspectives. When you can just realize that, yes, stress is coming and there are choices, and what are my choices and how am I doing? Am I making positive choices? Then you can start to overcome the feelings of that are common at first, feeling overwhelmed, things like that. Let's see here. Chaim, thanks for writing in. I missed that earlier. It says here, did you ever, okay, so Chaim, do I ever consider taking a larger first target to make it break even with the stop in place and then leave the second for a big move? Sometimes I will. And as we trade together more, you'll see I try to be flexible toward the market's recent input. And so rather than just saying something like, I always take a larger first target, or I always go for a bigger move, I might do that if the context and the more recent input has implied that those are gettable. But as a rule, my goal in trading is to trade for what's gettable, and take it. And so like we saw here, and so far 11.1, it filled easily. That's nice. But now the market's at 12.3. And so that's an early exit. Sorry about that abrupt mid-sentence interruption, pardon. And so, 11.1 came easily, and we'll see. But that seemed gettable. That seemed in the realm of, per recent market input, that's real money that's right there. And if you want it, take it. And that's a quality that has to be built up, is the willingness to take your profit. And so, but Chaim, as a rule, that's kind of, I try to be flexible toward what the market's saying and what it's showing and what it's communicating as a whole. And then if my perspective for the trade, my trigger for the trade is a intra-session day trade, then I try to dial my expectations into the realm of the trigger in the first place. So sometimes you can take a short-term trigger, but it really is nested in a larger term winning perspective. The market could be at a large-term, long-term support, and you could get an intra-session trigger at that support. And in that case, that trade, you could rightfully or more understandably pin bigger expectations to it, where you could say maybe it's an ES trade and you could say, well, I want to make 78 points on this. And so from an intra-session perspective, 78 points is a big deal. But because you have that agreement with the longer term, it's gettable. Whereas what we just did, this is a intra-session, Supra day range is an intra-session, smaller perspective incident of support or resistance. And so that's why I pinned my expectations to a smaller perspective. But like I was saying, this could blossom into an upward move and, bother us all because we're not in it. But you just pick your spot and then you go for it. So hopefully that helps answer that, Chaim. Yeah, tough to watch gold. Yes, Laura, the stress makes the victories all the more sweet. Exactly. I agree. I think when you can take something difficult and not buckle and instead capitalize to some degree, it's like perfection is very elusive and rare, if ever. And so, but if we can get a victory along the way where, hey, look at my P&L. It's good. It's green. Then it makes it very sweet. I agree. Let's see here. FIP wrote in. CL. I don't have my level active in CL. And so, yes, I missed it. And so very quick winner, obviously. If you were filled, I'm guessing somewhere around 32, 33, 25, 33. and the market went up, and it looks like it came close to 50 all in the same period. So nice situation. Now the market's almost back or a little below the entry at this point. Let's see here. FIP wrote in, and you guys can actually see this. He put it to all attendees also, so you've already seen it. Wish I had the bravado to take back-to-back trades in the same area, but I'm not there yet. Could have got a better price. Yes, that is sometimes a tough hurdle to go in and watch your money go away only for seemingly nothing as the market recovers, as it did here, and then go ahead and strap on similar or even greater risk off of what you just gave away. And so it happens. I would suggest to work on this because it'll happen to all of us if it hasn't already. I would look at your triggers. I would look at what prompted both entries, the one you took and the one you did not take. And then also, like you wrote in the other day, Phip, you said, the two questions is, what is the market trying to do and how well is it doing it? Something similar to that, if I remember right. I'm going to click on ES. Sergio said, look at ES. And so, FIP, I would just ask those questions as you look at gold, and then look carefully at your triggers and see how your actions, your timing. Did you have what you needed fully? Sometimes it's a little matter of being a little too eager. And I know obviously the second trigger is a Tradulator trigger, so that's just more so just looking at it. But all right, so Sujay wrote in, Jared. He says, thanks, Jared. I think I will stop. With 4 winners, it should be good for the day. Contentment is a beautiful thing, Sujay. And also, as I'm talking, Sujay, to you, the issue, I believe we've located the issue for the order error, and that is already fixed and is being tested right now. And so I didn't want to send you the fixed version without testing it plenty. And so now it's going through testing right now. We've got data going through it. And so that's happening behind the scenes, but everyone, you're going to get a number of updates, and they're going to be pretty exciting. So Sujay, I just wanted to let you know specifically because you did have an issue with it. Sergio, I am looking. I did not enable it. I didn't want to trade back into the same zone. And so if by chance, I don't know if there would be a trigger hit here or not, Sergio. But if you are filled, you likely already got your small target. But I don't have my line activated in ES. I did that on purpose just because we got our move earlier. The market couldn't quite make it to the larger target right away, came back to the entry. And so I figured I may revisit this later, but for now I didn't want to continually trade the same zone, especially at the same price levels again and again. YM after a pretty generous sell side trade. Oh, and could I ask, for those of you that were short YM, if you would, please let me know. I know Laura wrote in, she said 24257, if I remember the number, for a short entry. And I'm just curious what kind of targets you guys were able to pull out of that. And so I just for my own fun. And if you don't want to say, you don't have to. I'm not trying to push you around or anything. I'm just asking if you're inclined. So no pressure. All right. So crude, quick pop, and then right back. I have left this alone. I traded support. The market has, I think, properly reached a sideways status at this point, in between a broken or very much so tested support and not too edge minder support. And so I'm just content to wait on the sidelines. You can never lose money. Your account will not shrink if you wait on the sidelines. You may miss out, but missing out too doesn't shrink your account. And so sometimes you can just take a break. Do you guys, and this is completely off the topic of trading, this is just curiosity, TV shows. This is a few years ago, and it was a short run little odd comedy on ABC called Gallivant. And my wife, she loves to say, birds of a feather flock together. And so I'm dying to know if any of you here recall, or perhaps you watched, a TV show called Gallivant. It was kind of like, I don't know, set like, it was in an old, like 2,000 years ago. I'm trying to think of the era. But anyway, back when running water was not really a thing. So it was set way back then. And it was partly, it sounds weird, it was a comedy and it was partly a musical. But anyways, if you guys saw anything on, if you saw on ABC a show called Gallivant, I was going to say a line from that show. They just had funny lines in it. But I didn't say it because I figured it was a pretty oddball little comedy that probably not too many people saw. So anyways, I just thought, hey, I'll ask. So thanks for working around that issue, Sujay. And like I said, it's being tested right now. It's already built. And so it will be ready for release. I'm guessing, I would think by Monday of next week, we will have had a chance to go through all kinds of scenarios and just really make sure that it is basically worn out on the test side, and then it's good to go. Yeah. It was the first year. I think it was on for 2 seasons or part of 2 seasons, but the first one was good. I didn't even watch the second one because it kind of just fizzled out. I don't know if they had a change in any, something behind the scenes. But anyways, I left it alone after the first season, but there were just some hilarious, ridiculous lines in that show. That's all. So back to trading. Let's see. CL, still same story. RTY, I could go for that again, but didn't, only because same idea. We've already seen, the market has already seen all of these ticks. The market's, prices, I should say. The market's seen all these prices. 077 has traded, 079 has traded looking back. And so there's not a lot of fresh testing being done. The offer is not under pressure to continue to push the price lower. The bid is not under pressure to rescue the price right now, because 08.5 we've seen it. The market's tested it. It's happened. Sujay says, I'm going to sign off now. Thanks all. Have a great day ahead and stay safe. Yes, please stay safe. This we want to get on with life, but this COVID plague has a serious life of its own. And so please stay safe. I have to remind myself, I've gone out a couple of times to run an errand or something, and it's like, it's so easy to just touch your face and, just do everything like you're used to, but it's, please stay safe. And thanks, Sujay. Appreciate your patience on that. And then also congratulations on your winning trades today. That's awesome. So have a good rest of your time. I know you're in a radically different time zone, so thanks for joining us. Sergio asks, why don't we have day range indicators? Because the market has not produced it. That is how it works. That's what day range runs on. It runs on intra-session, real-time data input, transactional data. And so if the market has not created an event, then day range will not note the event. And so that's why we just don't have any. And so it keys into each day and recognizes what's normal for that day. Because as you know, volumes can change. All kinds of, there's so many variables in transactional data. And so it recognizes how things are flowing right now. And based on that, will then let us know, will then show up if something out of what you could call out of the ordinary happens. But so far, we just haven't had that throughout today's session. And so when you don't get a day range zone, it's because the market just hasn't, it's all been kind of under the radar. As an expression here, let's see here. I think there's a typo there, Sergio. If you don't mind just retyping, I just don't follow. But hopefully, so I know Laura wrote in. Oh, I think I missed some fills. I think I saw that earlier. 1 second. Yes. All right. So Chaim wrote in. Thank you, Chaim. And yeah, I was just curious for anyone that had trades today. I'm just curious how you've done. I know some of you have said, hey, I had 3 winners. I had 4 winners. That's awesome. Chaim wrote in. He said, YM, his trade also filled at 24257 like Laura. First target, smaller target, plus 11 ticks, 24246. And then his larger target, second target, was down at 24215. And so what's that, 43 ticks? If I'm counting correctly, 42. And so very nice. 42 ticks is fantastic. I used to work with he's a really nice guy. He passed away a number of years ago. But he was quite a smart businessman, and he was one of the first people I managed money for years ago. And I was young, I was just in my early 20s. And so we're starting out, and he kind of took the posture. He was an older, wealthier person at the time. And so starting out, he kind of took the posture like, well, I'll give you a chance. I'll let you, basically like he was doing me a favor. And he was, and it was a terrific opportunity. And I learned so much from him just because of his deep history in business and outside of trading. I mean, he did do some trading, but most of his business was in business acquisition, just buying companies, and also in real estate. And so I was able to learn a lot from him, and it was just a truly awesome experience. And so he kind of recognized that, he knew that, hey, I was very much in learning, some awesome learning opportunities from him. And so he would kind of took the posture like, hey, you get to hang out with me, so that's part of your pay. And so when he'd pay me, like we'd make money, like we had, crude trades and gold trades and silver trades, and okay, we've made money for a while, so now let's start moving some, let's get paid a little bit. And so he'd pay me, and it'd be a little lower than what I'd be like, oh boy, Ron, that's not even 25%, and he's like, well, and he'd I'm doing all this work, and I'd like to get a little more. But he'd always say, hey, it's better than a poke in the eye. And so even if you're not holding it to the very last tick, like looking at YM, if you're not holding it to the, pardon me, what's the low here? The very last tick downward, 24131, and you're out at 24215, but you still make 40 or so ticks, it's better than a poke in the eye, as Ron would say. My dear mentor / friend, Ron. But he passed away, I want to say in maybe 04 maybe. I think I started working with him in 2000, and he passed away in 04, so that was tough. But awesome experience. All right, so Sergio's racking up some wins here. And so Sergio saying he's got his 5th winning trade for today. And I'm curious, Sergio, is that in your world, is that radically different or pretty close? Have you had days? I know we've talked, but I don't know a ton about your history in terms of day in and day out, what kind of number of wins you might have. Is that radically different, pretty close, or less than? I'm just curious on that side of things. But 5 winners in a session is beautiful, and I'm very happy to hear about it. And so, again, like you'll hear me say this over and over again, share with me your results. It's one of my absolute primary motivations is to take, because I've talked to each one of you, and I'm very grateful to have met each one of you. And I can hear the struggle, and I'm very familiar with, oh my goodness, I've been there before, and I really needed help. And so I very much so enjoy the privilege of being able to get to know you, and then very much so want to see, hey, we talked 3 weeks ago, and now you're telling me you got 5 winners in a day. That tells me this is that I'm making a difference outside of just money. And so fantastic. I appreciate it very much. Tomas, thanks for writing in. Tomas says, could you please elaborate more on the rectangular zones that appear on the screen and how they are calculated? I just took a trade off of one and it was successful. Thank you. Well, Tomas, I'm so glad to hear it. And so I believe you're referring, this is a little bit of rectangle heaven, right? There's a lot of them. So green rectangle at the bottom here is EdgeMinder. This other green rectangle, just to mix things up, is Supra day range. And then this green rectangle is more of a highlight. It's not really a pre-existing support zone. EdgeMinder is the zone that I use going into the session that I broadcast to your screen. Supra day range is kind of more so takes the pulse of the market as it trades and will highlight zones that are likely to influence the market if it's revisited. So those are support zones that we have for today. And then this rectangle here is more so just Tradulator letting us know that at this moment in time and near this, this proximate area, the bid was in a position to overwhelm the offer. However, that's just showing that a snapshot, basically, that, hey, there was a chance for the bid to overwhelm the offer. And like we'll see, actually, I removed it. But we had this many sessions now, and you'll see it. You'll see instances where there's a lot of, actually, sorry, I'll go back here yesterday. So there were a lot of, if you had Tradulator turned on for resistance, there would be red box after red box after red box showing an instant where there was an opening for the offer to overwhelm the bid. However, that opening, the market didn't take it. It didn't go for it. And so what happens is you see lots of boxes, but it's just showing you a moment in time, a snapshot where there was a chance for the offer when it's a red box or for the bid when it's a green box to influence the market. But that only happens sometimes. Other times the market ignores the opening, goes the opposite direction, and you continue to have a scenario where there's an opening but no fill would have taken place. Now here there was a fill in gold, as we know, and the market had the opening. It took the chance, swirled around for a moment, went against, and then blossomed into a decent little winner. And is now basically right where I got out earlier, 1711.1, which is where we are right now. So it exceeded what I thought was gettable, but now has kind of settled in. It may resume at some point and continue, but hopefully that answers the question, Tomas, and it's a good question. Thanks for sending it in. All right, Sergio said it is radically different. He said you said, Sergio, that you have had good days, but never, or I should say no 5 winners in a row. Now, the added ingredient, a winners plus consistency equals success. And so that's what Sergio wrote in. He said, I've had good days, but no 5 winners in a row. Now I need consistency. And so that's where getting some progress. First winners, and now let's add some consistency. So Chaim, thank you. All right. Congratulations, Chaim, on your winners. I mean, that's just awesome. So have a wonderful day. And yes, we will talk soon. You can message me and we can talk soon. Tomas, it's my pleasure to elaborate on that. Hopefully that helped answer. And if I'm missing a comment, we've had a lot of comments. And so if I'm missing, you can click on Q&A and send it in that way. In case you send me a message in chat, but I don't see it, or it's been a while and I'm still not talking to you, it just means that I missed it. And so, Alexander, if you're here, if you have any questions, feel free to send in. Hey, I just saw your name. You've probably been here a while, but welcome, Milton. And so I could turn on a chime that tells me when you guys enter, but I'm not too much audio alerts. It's just kind of, for some reason, is not, it's too distracting. And so that's why I don't have that enabled. And half the time, if I leave an alert on, I want to quickly go find it and turn it off. And so anyways, if you've been here a while, Milton, I didn't mean to ignore you. Welcome. Thank you. We've had a fairly active day, and it has been a winning session, which we've had a number of winning sessions. Chaim, you wrote in. Hey, Chaim, if you don't mind, email me the details. I just want to see so I can go back and look. It is so rewarding to see you. We just spoke not long ago, and now for you to write in and say you've had 9 winners today. I would just love to see the details on those trades so I can just savor it. So anyways, Alexander, thanks for writing in. Check your time period. If you have an issue, and this is going to be soon a thing of the past, but if you're looking at metals, for example, GC, your trading hours needs to be set to NYMEX Metals RTH1. Once the update is released, like I said earlier, probably Monday of next week, we will have had a chance to push every possible scenario and lots of data through, and we can just do robust testing between now and next week. And so hopefully by Monday of next week we can send that out to everyone. And so it's very soon here in the very near future you can expect a gold being generous now with the longs. So back up above 12, but very soon you can expect an update, and one of the updates will mean one of the changes is to EdgeMinder, and EdgeMinder will no longer require you to select your setting, your time frame, your time. They changed the terminology. It used to be session something or other, but now it is trading hours. So pretty obvious, but it used to be session template. That's what it was. And so your trading hours, EdgeMinder will not require you to change your trading hours setting. It will automatically find and publish the zones that I've prepped. And it will do it also for additional sessions. And so that's just one of many modifications, improvements, etc. that are coming. And those are obviously, that's just included free, just like Supra Day Range. It's just a members only exclusive add-on. And so these refinements, as they're made, those are also all the updates. They don't cost extra. It's just as long as you're a member, you get the added functionality and the added ease of use without getting squeezed for more money. So the idea is for you to make money and for this to more than pay for itself. And so yeah, Chaim, if you would be so kind, Chain, maybe a screenshot. You're saying what's the simplest way to get a log? I'll read this out to everyone. Chain is asking what's the simplest way to share his trade log. I think there is a way where you can export it to me, but if you don't want to, I just would like to see it. That's all. So 3-minute periodicity and the trading hours for metals, again, NYMEX metals, RTH1, and then we'll switch over to crude. Nothing working in crude right now. And the trading hours, so you data series, time frame, trading hours, NYMEX, energy, RTH. And that should then enable your screen to accept my crude and gold levels. It's okay, Phip. Yes. And Phip, if you sent me over a time, I didn't get it. I'm sorry to say, but I will send you, 1 second here. I'll send you a little help, a little link. Ay, ay, ay. All right, I think that this is the right thing. I sent, oh, whoop, I didn't send that to anyone. I sent that to myself. Dirt. All right, let's try again. There we go. So let me know if you guys can see that link. That's a scheduling link. And Tomas, yes, you are. So if Tomas, if you don't have super day range, and it sounds like you don't, then just confirm that you don't have the link for it, and then I will make sure that you get it. And so yeah, when we talk FIP, that'll be great. And 3-minute for gold and for crude. And FIP wrote in and said, I haven't yet. Sorry, just became an uncle. Oh, how nice. That's awesome. And so things have been crazy. Crazy awesome. Yeah, plus, oh, yeah, the 4-letter word, the work. Yes. And so, well, congratulate. Is it a boy or a girl? Do you mind me asking? I'm just curious. Unless you already answered it. Maybe I missed it. And so awesome. How exciting. In my family, I'm the oldest, and I have a younger sister and younger brother, but my younger brother, he's the youngest. And he had 3 kids at a very young age. He was married, and just every 2 years, he had his kids 2 years apart and like within a week of each other. And so I became an uncle very early on, and then I waited, and his kids were already getting bigger, and then that's when we had our, and when we have one, we have our daughter, so he has 3 and we have 1, so. But congratulations, and it's a boy, so very cool. How exciting. Either way, it's awesome. That's just pure joy. That's fantastic. All right, so Phip says, let's see here. Going back to work. Oh, Laura said, sorry, Phip, going back to work is a huge bummer. Hopefully that ends soon and you're going to do this full time. That'd be awesome. Yes, Tomas. Okay, thanks for letting me know, and I will get that out to you today, sooner rather than later. Let's see here. James says, congratulations, Phip. Your nephew will have a wealthy uncle. Yes, Uncle GC. He won't call you Phip, he'll call you GC. Nice. You got a future hockey player on your hands. Very cool. All right. As per usual, here it is 10:59, and just looked at the clock. So if I missed... Oh, Chaim, thanks for emailing that. Awesome. All right, I see that it came in. I haven't looked at it yet, but I see there's a notification. Yes, big disappointment to get shrugged off, and now look at this here. Or don't look at it, because it's like salt in the wound. So this go, no go, the market tested into it, backed off, came back into our support, did not test to a lower low, and has since taken off in a pretty easygoing fashion. Now, obviously, tick by tick, you might say, oh, wow, maybe I should get out. There's a tail here or something. But if you just go period by period, you can see just higher high, higher low. And so, unfortunately, yeah, not a part of that bigger move in gold, but still able to have a nice winning session today. Okay, and so Phip, you looked back and you had a little bit of a rule bend, if not break. And so that's an opportunity to learn. And if you want to talk more about that, just go ahead and we can talk about that. Did you guys check that scheduling link that I put in here a little while ago? You can book me link. Go ahead and if you tap on that or click, that should give you all kinds of times you can choose from if you need anything. And so again, congrats, Phip. In the real world, you got yourself a future hockey playing nephew. And yeah, it would have been a dandy winner had we just held on there. But everyone trade safely if you're going to continue. I know a lot of you had some nice wins today. And so if you would be so generous, go ahead and email me just some more details so I can see how well it went. And everyone, we will look forward to getting started again tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. or a little bit sooner, and can get logged in and get set. And excellent session today. Great questions. Keep them coming. The sooner we can all get familiar with and comfortable with the process, the sooner you can anticipate what the market's actually communicating, and these details can be more of a reflex, more of just something you can kind of do like driving a car. You don't have to really think about it too much. Terrific. That could push you to a whole other level of success. And so hopefully we can see it to that point. And so we'll just end our session for today. Thanks so much. And I'll look forward to seeing everyone tomorrow morning, 9:30, a little bit before that, and we'll get started all over again. So trade safely, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks. Bye-bye.